What is up everyone, I'm Skratch, welcome to the channel. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I'm currently on the test server, guys. We're gonna have a look at the brand new fusion. Now a lot of people are saying that this is the worst fusion of 2023. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree. Do you think he's really the worst fusion? They're saying he's on par with Loriaka and Jetney with the cow and with the bull, you know, because Jetney kind of looks like she's a bull. What do you guys think about the panda, you know? We do have a bunch of other champions that have been added to the game. We're gonna check that out later on. Bambus Fourleaf. Should we skip the fusion? Should we do it? Do we have any viable use for this champion mid-game, end-game, early game? Surely we can do something with him, right? So he has pretty good base stats, not too bad. Let me just actually move my big head out of the way. So how you may see, the stats are nice. 21k HP, 1.2k defense, 110 speed. So you can't really complain about it. When we are talking about skills, guys, with A1 attacks an enemy, has a 50% chance to land decreased speed. If the enemy has multiple debuffs on him, he's gonna attack everybody else with a chance to land decreased speed AoE. Pretty interesting. Then he puts himself to sleep. He's a bit tired, this fellow. The A2, on a 4-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies. Before attacking, places a shield buff on all allies equal to 30% of their max HP for 2 turns. Also, increases the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn. That actually sounds pretty interesting, man. It's definitely not a bad thing to increase the duration of buffs. The main issue is that this is on a 4-turn cooldown. After attacking, has a 75% chance of fully booked, 100% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Even if the attack lands as a weak hit, also increases the value of any shield buffs on all allies by 2% for each enemy buff that has its duration increased by the skill. Now I think the reason why they've put this on a 4-turn cooldown is because of that specific thing. There are epics in the game that can increase and decrease the duration of buffs and debuffs, and they have the skill on a 3-turn cooldown. Now, again, with this, he will put himself to sleep. Now, keep in mind, because I've seen quite a few people commenting this on my video yesterday. People were saying, Skratch, I don't need Bambus Fourleaf to make my Infinity Comp deal 200 billion damage on any difficulty on Hydra. I actually just need Bambus Fourleaf and my other champions, the Infinity Comp, to basically get me the chest on normal difficulty on Hydra, you know, because I don't get top chest there yet. Well, guys, if you're not able to get top chest there with a regular team, you're not gonna get top chest with the Infinity Comp. It's much harder to build. It requires a lot of knowledge on how to use the team. It's very specific champions, so don't raise your hopes for that. If you don't have legendary skill tomes for this champion, he's not going to do the job properly because he doesn't have a 100% chance anymore to increase the value of the shield. So keep that in mind, okay? I just want to make you aware of all these things before you're rushing to do a decision that you might regret later on. The A3 targets an enemy. First places increase accuracy and increase attack on all allies for 2 turns. Now this is great right here if you're trying to use a bomb champion like Gaius, for example, how we used to do it before, and instead of Yoshi. You don't have Yoshi, you get increased accuracy, increased attack, awesome stuff. Your bomb champion is gonna do an awesome thing. The only issue there is that that's not a thing anymore. You're not gonna encounter teams that can be farmed with Gaius in Platinum Arena anymore, and in the lower tiers, those teams don't require you to increase the accuracy of your hero unless you really have only 100 accuracy on your bomb champion, and even then, you're only gaining 50 more accuracy with increased accuracy, which will take your bomb champion to 150 accuracy, and it won't really make such a big difference from 100 to 150, you know what I mean? Then has a chance to land the enfeebled debuff. Now this is the more interesting thing in my opinion. You could play it in Arena in a way or another to land the enfeeble on the nuker, but then you have decreased accuracy will instantly make him a sheep, you know? So that's not that great anymore, and the main issue is this enfeebled debuff enough for you guys to replace him in your team instead of getting a better champion that could do better support or something? In my opinion, no. So that's kind of like how I'm feeling about this skill, you know? And yeah, again, he's gonna put himself to sleep. The passive has a 50% chance of transferring any debuffs placed on an ally to this champion while they are under a sleep debuff. will not transfer block, revive, stun, freeze, etc. all the crowd control debuffs at the start of this champion's turn, removes any sleep debuffs from this champion. Then transfers all debuffs from this champion to the enemy with the highest resistance if a sleep debuff was removed from this champion by the champion's passive skill. So he needs to rest, he needs to have his beauty sleep in order to get the most out of his kit. When we are talking about masteries, guys, we have offense and a defense tree. We have a War Master as tier 6. I don't want to have lasting gifts, because when I'm going to try him in Hydra, if the shield that he's placing is going to replace the shield on my Corpulent Cadaver, will be annoying AF. So you don't want to get lasting gifts because of that one thing. But we're going to try him to see if he can do some work first, okay? I'm not promising anything. I don't think so, but we're going to see. Especially based on rotations too. It's going to be very, very important. So these are the masteries. Total stats. I gave him a regeneration because I want to use him in the dragon. I gave him refresh accessories, and I want to give him a bit of more speed, just for the simple fact that in the dragon it's gonna be a bit annoying if no. He might not be able basically to get to 1-to-1 ratio with the boss. So let's actually replace this a bit, and we still need a bit more. Let's do this. Come on, game. Okay, so there we go. We have more speed than the dragon now on hard mode, so we should be able to overlap the boss. Total stats, tons of HP, 3.2k defense, 253 speed, 294 accuracy. So that accuracy should be fairly decent. Now, of course, we're going to change the banner back to accuracy before we're moving over to Hydra, and we can keep this even for Arena. But if we're going to head over to the dragon, so usually my team is with Staltus. So if you don't have Staltus, if you don't have, for example, Hellier, he can help you on this stage, because basically he's gonna transfer the poisons back to the boss, or at least in theory that's what he should do. So we're gonna try to see if it will actually work. Now I'm gonna bring Liburga to help him out a bit with the poisons and see how fast we can get this team to work basically in the run, you know. It might not be very efficient, hell, it might not even work, so let's find out actually. The Enfeebled actually look nice to have it on a target. So he's buffing, putting himself to sleep, and that's where it matters. So he's asleep. He's gonna get debuffs, right? That's fine. We have that on. He needs to take a turn, basically. Okay, he took the turn, put himself to sleep, and now when he takes a turn, he should transfer all those to the boss. Okay, so he's doing that. So in this scenario, he could potentially be helpful. Now, my team is not really built to support him, to keep him alive at the moment. So they've all died, you know. But as an idea, you can potentially run him in this scenario with a more supportive team. It's not gonna be a fast run. It's not gonna fail like it just happened for me. So instead of having your Seer, your Kymar, and Ghostborn weak like I have them to don't die, you can put Bambus, for example, on a shield set, you know, and just keep them alive longer so it gets to do a better job. But I feel like, yeah, I think Liburga would be a better replacement. Just bring a support champion instead of Liburga. Keep your team alive. It's not going to be fast, but if you have the rest of the team to do the combo, it's going to work, you know? Now, let's try it with a support champion to see if we can keep him alive, right? Because that's going to be important. One thing that I will quickly do is to change the order of the champions, you know? Because what's going to happen is that Godseeker and Iri will revive Ghostborn if no. So let's do it like that. Ghostborn, he should be doing his job anyway. He's not really gonna try to use any other skills, so we can let him go like this, you know. Let's see. Maybe Godseeker and it is not gonna be good enough, but you don't want to bring in champions that cleanse, you know, because you're gonna remove the poisons and you have a chance to wake him up, and he's not gonna be a happy fella if you wake him up, you know. So the boss put the poisons on. We're kind of like back to step one. We're transferring the poisons from him to the boss. Okay. The boss got increased attack. Maybe a Lydia instead of Ghostborn could work here to block buffs for that increased attack. But that won't give you consistency on the waves. When she gets resisted on defense down, when she gets resisted on block buffs, the team is gonna fail. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you are after consistency, I don't think that this is necessarily the thing, you know. So put yourself to sleep. Okay. You see, that's another thing that happens. That's another thing that happens. You need the boss to bring the passive rather than attack him. If the boss attacks him, he's taking damage. The passive doesn't come in play. He's not transferring debuffs. And this team is a complete ass show, okay? Now I can make this team work at least once to show it in the video as successful, and then you're gonna complain that I showed you a team that doesn't work when you get a champion. The one thing that I want to mention again is that one, he needs more support than any other champion. Two, if the skills are not timed at the right time with the boss, etc., he's not transferring the debuffs back to kill the boss. So you need basically a Staltus in here with him to do the work, or you need a different champion that can do some crazy things like that, and you won't have support. So it's definitely not looking as a very interesting thing. Now, if we're gonna go over to Arena, guys, he's gonna be great to give you increased attack and increased accuracy if needed, how I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Now, I don't think that you're gonna need that for the lower tiers of Arena, and when I mean lower, Gold 5, Gold 4, etc. Correct me if I'm wrong. I am playing every week in Gold 5 while I'm making my way to Platinum, and all the teams feel like they have 150 to 200k power, which clearly shows that nobody has resistance on their team. So I find it a bit hard to think that you really need to have high accuracy to deal with them. But let me know in the comments down below what's your experience so far. Maybe a bit more helpful in Tag Team Arena. Maybe you're going to find some more high resistance teams in there. And if you don't have Yoshi, yeah, he's going to do a great job at doing this specific thing. Increase attack, increase accuracy. That's why I don't have Arbiter or somebody else in the team. Now, the main question that I have, would you really drop a Gorgorap from the team that gives you increased attack, boosts turn meter, and gives you a revive just to get the Panda in? Would you drop a champion like Arbiter? Would you drop a champion like Old Hermit Jork from the Orcs that brings the revive, increased attack, and increased turn meter just to gain the increased accuracy? Would you do that? Ask yourself that before you're thinking if you would use this champion with a bomb champion in Arena, you know? So I personally don't think I would drop them. Yoshi was important for me back in the day because I was fighting teams that had 800 resistance, you know, so I needed that increased accuracy. But that's not a thing anymore, you know. You're not going to encounter those sort of teams. This rotation is not good for it. This rotation doesn't steal buffs. And when you're going to encounter this rotation on the regular server, this team will be useless. So if we're going to go to hard, this is the team, right? Let me just show you quickly the stats. Then we're going to try something else. So if we're going to pay attention, Bambus 246, Krisk 258, Lydia 285, 287, and we have 274. And of course, Corpulent is slower than everybody. But basically, you're going in the run. No mischief had this time around on this rotation, and you're going to encounter quite a few rotations like this as well. So that means that the bamboo stick guy is not going to be very helpful in this team. I mentioned from the beginning, I don't think he's going to be great to replace Brogni. Now, pair him with Brogni, that might be something else. But to replace Brogni, no freaking way. Let's increase the duration of buffs. Let's put that provoke there. And right now, you know what? I could do really any of these things. It's no point to do this because they have no buffs. So it's nothing to decrease. I cannot increase the shield. I can use the A1 and try to land decreased speed maybe, you know? There we go. So we attacked everyone. We landed a couple of decreased speeds. So my Corpulent Cadaver right now hits for exactly 18,587. Then we're going to let him buff, right? That's the main idea. We want them to buff. We don't want to put block debuffs on anybody. And let's increase the duration of buffs on everybody. Keep them going. Okay. Again, it's no point to use the A2 yet. We're gonna go with the A1. Give them a chance. My Corpulent Cadaver hits for 16,923. That was a bit of RNG there though, so don't get deceived by it. We got Provoke there, not necessarily the biggest issue. They buffed finally, that's great. So we're gonna get to do some work after. Let's try to put that Provoke on. Okay, he put himself to sleep again. So my Corpulent Cadaver, 12,000 damage. Now again, this is still RNG. The value of the shield doesn't decrease by a lot, but it does decrease by a bit when he gets hit. So just to set it up in motion with this team right now, you see we are actually losing the shield on Corpulent. So his damage gets lower and lower. We're gonna try to do this now. So we remove the buffs, and now we're gonna finally attempt to increase the value of the shield. You see, he lost even more shield just now, Corpulent Cadaver, because he got hit. So right now, we're gonna increase the value of the shield with this skill, because we're gonna decrease the buffs on the Hydra. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buffs. So that should be 10% value of shield. Okay, so you see the shield just got bigger. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And now my Corpulent hits for 14,000. Okay, so we're still below of what we had when we started. And we're gonna go on. We're gonna go on more. Now, if the Mischief Head would be in here, it would be a bit more interesting, okay? Because you're gonna have somebody to give buffs to the Mischief. That's gonna be fine. It's not gonna be a problem whatsoever. And the main thing that you need to keep in mind is that you're losing decreased speed, decreased speed, decreased speed, decreased speed. You want the Mischief Head to steal as many buffs as possible. And even if you think that you're going to control the Mischief Head, that he's only going to steal buffs from one champion and is not going to mess up your entire rotation, the way you're increasing the duration of buffs, etc. in the team, is not going to work, because the Mischief target will target the champion with the biggest amount of buffs, with the most amount of buffs, sorry. And slowly is going to pinch the buffs from everybody, till he's going to get to Corpulent Cadaver, which of course will have resistance, to be kind of like blast proof against the Mischief target. But then he's constantly just going to target that champion when you keep him alive, because he's the one that has the biggest amount of buffs. Now, it might take you 20, 30 turns with each one of the champions to ramp up the buffs on all your team again, so the Mischief target can start stealing buffs again from Krisk, for example. And it will take you a while, which will slowly rack all the shield that you have on your team, and Corpulent Cadaver will be in the exact same situation where he is right now, not dealing enough damage, you know? So that's another thing to keep in mind. The skills are on a 4-turn cooldown. Now he is constantly being smacked around, getting woken by the rest. Corpulent shield just went to nothing, so we have barely any shield on him right now, because the Hydra heads are breaking the shield. There we go, slowly. We're getting it there, guys. For whoever else was curious to see how this plays out, it's not that we're losing the buffs. I have the buffs up for 6-7 turns for a very long duration, so that's not a problem whatsoever. I have Strengthen, which reduces the damage that I'm taking by 25%. Now, my Panda still only managed to put the increased value of shield once. If I put him on Reflex, yes, it's going to work slightly better. Now, the main thing that's going to happen from here on, guys, is that I have no buffs on this rotation. The Hydra will not buff more. It's still a while till this is gonna happen. 3 turns. By that time, I'm gonna keep it on to go. I'm gonna keep it ongoing just so you guys can see it with your own eyes, and you're not saying that I'm talking nonsense. And that's the reason why I made a video yesterday, to make you aware that a thing like this will not be something that the most of you guys will be able to use. We lost actually one of the buffs because we got damaged. I didn't even notice that. So there we go. If I'm using this, not much will happen. So we already lost the shield, you know, basically. Is that. We lost the shield already, is that. This is not a thing anymore. So just as an idea, it doesn't work, guys, okay? How I mentioned, I could potentially pull this off on my account with a lot of tries, with the Mischief Mischief Head being in there. But it won't be something enjoyable. It won't be something that will give you decent results. Now, one thing that you could potentially do, and that's if you don't have a bigger, crazier champion to help you out in your team to do extra damage, is to drop in a champion like Anchorite and bring in the Panda. And go in with a team like this. But you need Brogni for it. You're gonna need Brogni for it if you wanna get some serious value out of it. Now let's see what we can do with a team like this. I really think that this has some potential, but you still need Brogni for it in order to get it to work. And you need a Head of Mischief, and you want to increase the shield with Brogni a lot, and then to slowly get some value from this. If you have a 1 million shield and you're increasing it by 10% from his skill, getting 100k extra on top of it is just nuts, right? Like, it's gonna add up a lot. You have a 10 million shield or whatever, the value of the 10% is gonna be massive. But in order to get to that, you need to kill the heads quite a bit. You need to do a lot of damage with Brogni, and I feel like it's gonna be very hard to just leave one of the heads alive, you know, like keep the mischief alive. Because what's gonna happen, yes, he's gonna steal the buffs from everybody. Then he's gonna start targeting the Corpulent Cadaver. And you're gonna be like, well, you know what? It's fine because my Corpulent Cadaver has resistance. Then the 3% chance will proc at some point. Corpulent will lose all the buffs, and this team dies. It's useless after. So check out Brogni, right? Look at the shield. You see the difference? You see the difference? So in order to make him viable, he needs to have, like, I don't know, 20-30 buffs on the enemy, you know? Of course, how I mentioned, if I would have the shield very big from the beginning and I'm getting 10% of the very big, it's nice. Getting 10% of the very little is not nice, you know what I mean? I guess you guys understand the analogy there, you know? So let's have them to buff in here. I cannot use that skill yet because it's pointless. I wanna increase the value of this shield once we have buffs on the Hydra. Corpulent dealing 60k damage now. This is such a massive difference compared to what we had before. Okay. Come on, take a turn. Take a turn. Okay, increase attack, nice. So we need some more buffs. $60k, we dropped some of the shield already because of the hits. Finally. I was gonna say, where are all these buffs, man? Okay, so now we're gonna increase the value of the shield. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10%. Definitely not bad. Now my main issue is his shield going to replace my shield here? That's why you don't want to have lasting gifts, because this can mess you up. So I don't think it did. It increased it first. So now we can actually go in with more. And let's see what value we got from all that. $79k, so a fairly decent increase. Of course, Brogni helped as well with his second hit. But my main thing is that with Brogni, he can potentially work pretty well and do something nice, something exciting. Without Brogni, he's not gonna do much, and people that had high hopes for him to get to 1 key normal or hard because they were not able to do it with a regular team, you're not gonna do it like that, guys. So I just wanted to kind of like share you my take on the hero. I would love to try him in live arena in a couple of fights for the Enfeeble, but unfortunately there is no live arena on the test server. I do think he's decent. I don't necessarily think he's the worst fusion of the year, honestly. I do think that increase the value, decrease the value, increase accuracy, increase attack, decrease speed can be very, very beneficial for a lot of people out there. I do think he's gonna offer you more value than Loriaka in a way or another. Just the block debuffs or whatever she had, you know. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Very curious to hear your thoughts, guys. Appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.